what I mean by that is people are starting to actually follow the process. And when that happens, it just makes things more seamless. It puts the upfront expectation on the people that are actually coming on board. And that way you can blame it on the system and not yourself. Or, it doesn't become some personal thing. Well, you won't give me more time because you don't like me, or you gave the other person more time. We know those things happen. But, we've got 10 people on here, excluding Amy and I, 8, that are looking to build and grow. And I think this is probably the most we've had on a recruiting meeting. So it's just getting more and more exciting. As the year goes on, obviously, as we get deeper into the year, from a sales perspective, this is the busiest time of the year. This is when, people have their big booms, if you will, from a sales perspective. But it's also where people start to make their transitions. You have people that, I think we mentioned this in our last meeting, from Sunday night into Monday morning is when the most heart attacks happen, because people are stressed out about going to jobs that they hate. So we'll lose probably somewhere between 8 to 12% or 8 to 10% of our sales force that will go, this is not for me. I need to go back and punch a clock or whatever. And it is what it is. Hate to see those people go, but we're all adults and we have to make our own decisions with our careers. The other part of that is, the positive part of that is those, just as many as those people are leaving, there's other people looking for opportunities. So I will task you guys with, if you're really truly wanting to build this thing, to start posting on social media. Now, another thing from a recruiting standpoint, one of my big tasks that I'm working on, you guys can do it or not. I know we talked about LinkedIn the other day. I'm going to put just a quick training on Saturday at the end of the regular new agent training. So it'll probably start around 9:30 or so, and just dig into LinkedIn and Facebook, so I can show you guys what I do. I probably pick up anywhere between 2 or 3 recruits every single week from one of those platforms, but I'm constantly connecting with people on LinkedIn, which I think is more professional than Facebook. I'm sure none of you guys would argue with that. And it just gives it a different feel when you're connecting with people on there, right? Even if you don't recruit them, if you continue to post. One of my interviews yesterday was somebody that said they literally saw the post and they said, I'm seeing so many of your posts, so many FFL posts, and I kind of know who you are. So went through, had a really good interview with the person. They're currently with another IMO right now and considering the switch. It's a good thing. It's just posting, reposting. If you don't have any of your own information to post, I would recommend posting someone else's. Just post something else from FFL. And I'm telling you, posting somebody else's stuff sometimes makes more sense than posting your own. And here's why. If it's people that know you on your Facebook page, think of family, friends, that kind of stuff, they might still look at you as the snot-nosed kid, right? Even though you might be 40, 45, 50 years old, they're still looking at you like you're 11, 12, 13 years old. So, maybe you won't get them, but they're posting somebody else's third-party information and they see a 19-year-old. I don't know if you guys know Michael Sandman, but he's going to write over 500,000 this year. Tim, I don't know if you saw his pictures and stuff. That guy looks like he can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I mean, he really does. Nope, not picking on him. Yeah, you're on mute still, Tim. But this guy, he just absolutely crushes it. I think he'll do like $500,000-$600,000 this year, and he's literally 19 years old. And I think he did $450 last year. So just shows you what's possible. So from that perspective, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I think this is one of those everybody's not supposed to know, but they do know. So one of the transitions that's getting ready to happen at FFL is we're going to start offering Medicare Supplement. Not our own, but we're going to partner with some companies just like we've done on the life insurance side. So here's what I'll task you with. There's a lot of companies out there that are specializing in just Medicare Supplement. The other part of that is a lot of those agents are still selling life insurance as well, if it comes up or if the person calls and asks them. So go to Google, look up Medicare Supplement places. There's agencies all over the country. They're all around us, and just call them and have a meeting with them. Now, I'm going to put myself out there again. This hurts my sales, but that's okay. So I want to help you guys build as well. If you get into any of those organizations and they're willing to talk with you, I'll meet with them and I'll sell them on why it makes sense to do this and why it makes sense for them to have the other side of this, because they're losing money and their agents are probably doing it anyway. So that makes sense to everybody? Yep. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And just so you guys know, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but whatever. If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. Eric Hamadi and Zach Egan are the people that are going to be running it or whatever. Amy, are you shaking your head? I'm not supposed to tell this information. Is that what you're saying? All right, then I'm going to pause but there's some people that are going to be running it, that are putting stuff together. I believe United Healthcare is going to be our first provider, but they're going to be adding to that. So, and I've talked to some other VPs. I think it's one of those things that's out there, but it's not supposed to be, just to let you guys know. So as more information comes about that, you guys will know. December, January is when it's going to kick off. The reason I wanted to mention this to you guys, because you guys are recruiting your building. I'm telling you, other people are, if they're not, they're going to start doing this, start reaching out to some other Medicare supplement places, just to let you know. All right. Thanks, Amy. Just cut me off next time, Amy, instead of shaking your head. I know I'm gonna get myself in trouble, but that's okay. I want you guys to have a jump on it in your areas. All right.
Quick question.
Yep.
We would need a health license for that, correct?
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
So as we recruit people, that might be something we think about now when we tell them to get their license.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about recruiting, I just want to throw that in there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Corey,
might take longer.
Do you need the AHIP for MedSup or just for Medicare Advantage?
I don't want to get into a full scale detailed conversation about I'll talk to you about that offline. I just don't want to turn this into a MedSup conversation, but yes, you will have to be certified. And I can only imagine that there's going to be certification classes and stuff out there that will be put on by the carriers. 100%. So good stuff. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Renee. Amy, anything from an administrative standpoint, since I've already got myself in trouble, that you wanted to mention?
Just a couple things. As you guys know, HCMS is on us to clean it up. So that's what we're doing. Been doing this for a few weeks now. The deadline is way gone and past. I've just kind of been giving people a little more time. If people aren't responding, then their requests in HCMS are getting deleted. If you see anything, just let me know. We can fix it. If we remove somebody that is active, that's fine. Just let me know. It's always good to keep in good communication with leadership who you have in the mix. That way we know what's going on with them. Because if we don't hear anything about them or hear from them, then we assume that they are not here. Also, when you get a recruit, it doesn't matter where it comes from, whether it's given to you, whether you recruit them, wherever it comes from, the very first thing that needs to happen is they need to go in the onboarding form. There have been several people that have slipped through the cracks in the last few weeks that didn't go in the onboarding form. So things didn't get done. And I know some of you do your own onboarding, but there are still things that I do with every single person that comes in, systems that I put them in that they have to go in that you guys don't have access to. So it's just important that we have every single recruit on that onboarding form. So
yeah, guys, Andy, before you put yourself on mute, it shows up like a red flag because we have a process and system in place. I mean, it pops up like a red flag if somebody's not. That's the first thing we do is check. I'll check the system because when we get them in, the first thing I do is put them in my phone under contacts. I know who the recruiter is, what their percentage is, and all that way, because I get a lot of calls from agents or sometimes people that I don't know very well, and they're calling and asking me questions, and I want to know who they're attached to. That way I can send you a Slack saying, hey, John Smith's been reaching out to me. Make sure you reach out to him because I don't want to overstep my boundaries with you guys' teams. I'll help anybody, but just want to make sure that there's open communication there. The second thing is as we're removing people, we have our leadership meeting on Sundays. We're asking, hey, where are people at and everything else. Like if the leadership doesn't know, we're going through, start taking people off. It's people that they've never come to meetings. They're not active. We don't see them. They don't sell. Whatever the case is, get together with your business partner, let them know, hey, every couple of weeks at least, hey, John is still in the mix. He's working full time. Whatever you got going on. So we know. The reason why, because I don't want people pointing the finger at Amy saying she took people off. 9 out of 10 guys, I'm the one that told her to do it. So if you guys want to get pissed at somebody, get mad at me. But here's the deal. What they're tasking administration to do is if people are in HCMS and they have all of these carriers that they've applied for, and Amy, you can jump in anytime if I'm getting off track. They got all these carriers that they've applied for, and they've never finished going through the process, and they're just sitting there. Amy has slacked them. I have slacked them. Some of them I have texted without you guys even knowing, hey, can you please go into HCMS, complete your stuff, put your numbers in and all that, and we hear nothing, like literally. So, Amy, how many did you take out? You went from like 200 to like 60 or something like that the other day? Was it
Yeah,
something
it was
crazy like that?
179 to like 64. And this is not just Genesis worldwide. This is Phoenix
Right.
as well. A good chunk of that was Phoenix.
Was Phoenix.
But yeah, that's how many activities I ended up closing that were older than 3 months that agents have not gone out. Basically what they're doing is they're not adding their writing numbers. Once they get their writing numbers, you got to go to HCMS, you got to enter those in. Those requests are being left open. For whatever reason, HCMS doesn't like that. I don't know why it matters. I'm just doing what I'm told. So they wanted anything 3 months or older to be closed, whether it was closed by the agent putting their number in or closed by us by just closing that activity. I did not close one activity without attempting multiple times to reach out to the agent and their upline. So nobody was just like blindly closed.
And here's the thing about that. Again, just running your business like a business, right? Nobody says anything until the person gets removed from Slack, and then they get removed from HCMS. They get a notification. All of a sudden they're like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And they've had stuff that's been in there for literally a quarter of the year that they've done nothing. So just keep that in mind as well. All right. Amy, thank you for that. First of all, anybody have any questions about that kind of the process, what goes on behind the scenes, anything like that? Anything at all? That's why we're here. Amy, anything else you would add to that? Okay.
Actually, yeah. Other than that, I mean, things are going so much better. I mean, things just process seems a lot smoother. I think people are finally getting it. Those that want to be here are, stepping up and doing what they need to be here to be here, listening. And, obviously those that don't will fall off. So I think things are definitely coming together.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. We appreciate it very, very much. All right. Anybody have any questions, concerns, anything they'd like to add to that, or process that needs to be updated, cleaned up, anything like that at all? Perfect. All right. So I wanted to mention that ZipRecruiter is back. I finally heard back from Savannah. I think there's a couple of you guys that are attached to that. Renee, I will add you to that list. She finally responded back. Amy's been seeing the messages that I've been sending back and forth. So we finally got that done. We should be able to get those things set up. I'm going to message Savannah again today, make sure that gets taken care of. They are $50 per slot. St. Louis is a slot. Washington, D.C. is a slot. Cape Girardeau's a slot. Jackson, Missouri is a spot. And then you can have infinite number of spots that you want. We'll run it for you. We'll do all the stuff for you. As recruits come in your area, I will send them to you. And then if you want to reach out and have that first contact with them, after that, I am happy to do the interview. Now, your first couple, I definitely like you to be on. I think it makes sense for you to be on all of them until you guys get comfortable to do your own interviews. But I will do every interview through all of Genesis, Good Life, worldwide. You guys just let me know what you need me to do. I'm happy to do it. Just had a 2-hour interview for one of Mark's people just yesterday or day before, whatever day it was. They're $50 a spot. If you want a spot, just send me a message on Slack. Those of you that have already let me know what spot you have, you don't need to resend me a message. I've already got them going, and I'll hopefully talk to Savannah today. For those of us that are doing, sending out your own welcome email, Amy, I'm going to ask you to chime in here, that are sending out your own welcome email. Once we get to the $500,000, we're, issue paying $500,000, which I think we're probably 6-7 months away from that. But when we get to that point where we're issue paying $500,000 a month, we will take over all of onboarding. If you want Amy to do it for you, she doesn't charge very much. As a matter of fact, she's basically doing it for free, but she'll do all of it for you. If you're interested in that, the three of us, or whoever, with me, Amy, and you, or whoever wants to do that. Tim's doing it. I'm doing it right now, and that kind of stuff. But when we hit $500,000, we'll compensate Amy to take over and do that whole thing, which she wants to anyway. Again, $50 for each one of those spots. For those of you guys that are doing it, or say it again.
Can I add something to that?
Absolutely.
Guys, one of the things that has taken a load off of my plate is that onboarding and stuff. I'm not technically challenged, or I'm technically challenged to some degree, but I tell you what, it is well worth what I pay Amy. And like I said, it is not much, but I'm telling you, it just frees you up from having to worry about this and that. And I can just keep doing what I'm doing. So I would highly recommend, if you value your time and you want somebody who does this every day to stay on it, so you don't have to keep bouncing back and forth, it's the best money I've invested. Just
Yeah,
FYI.
and thank you, Tim, for that endorsement too. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, it saves me. I can't tell you how much time it saves me. And she does more than really what she should be doing anywhere, what she's required to do. But she knows that she's helping us build this business and she's a part of it. It's funny saying all the stuff you're right here, Amy, but she's a part of it and she's involved with it and she wants to build, wants to grow, wants to help the team grow. So she's willing to do whatever. From that perspective, again, if you guys are going to do it yourself, we're just asking that you follow the process. You do the onboarding form, right? Right when you get the person on, you get them on Slack. Because if you don't, I know I preach to you guys every single week and I don't mean to. You don't get them on Slack, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know who to ask. If they can't get a hold of you, they're completely out there and they don't know. And if you want to make this harder on yourself and on them and have a bunch of people that you're just spinning through the process, don't plug them in. That's what's going to happen. It's just, is that what you see on a consistent basis, Amy? The ones that don't get plugged in, the ones that don't get on Slack and all that kind of, they just don't know what to do. And it's crazy. And if they call me or Amy, of course, we're going to help them. But if you're going to do it on your own, please follow the process. Amy, anything that you'd add to that?
Yes, for licensed agents, that new agent onboarding document that was put together. I've been sending that like one-off to agents all the time because they're not getting it with their licensed welcome email. So, I mean, it doesn't have to go with that email, but I mean, it just makes sense to get them everything they need right up front. You can send it to them at any time, but the sooner they get it, the better. Because then, I mean, you get less questions, I get less questions because it walks them through the process step by step. So I probably sent that to 5 agents this week that said that they didn't receive it.
Yeah, it's important. It just, and guys, literally, I'm being a little facetious here, but there's literally pictures. I mean,
And there's
literally,
links, and there's
it
videos.
takes you step by step by step by step. So,
And it's just good information to have
Right.
moving forward for them to go back and be like, oh, how do I add a number to HCMS or well, how do I get into H, just different things like that. So
and the
good
videos that
information
we
to have and hold on to.
absolutely. So I recommend if you guys haven't, I mean, it's going to take you 5 minutes. Take the time to go through it. Christy?
Well, I was gonna say on the onboarding form, just in case someone prints it, like Amy just said, there's links. So sometimes that checklist is missed because they're just looking at it from the printout, not necessarily. So sometimes like Paul, I just sent it to him, or I said, hey, go look at, what was it, like first paragraph or something, because then they missed the link to it, to the checklist.
Yeah, true. Very true. But again, it does give, thank you for saying that, Christy. It does give them a resource to be able to go back to or open it back up once it's sent out to them. I just think a lot of times they're just not getting it for whatever reason, or they're not reading through it. We had one new person that's coming on. I'm not going to say any names, Amy. I think you know who the person was. This was week before last. And the guy literally said, yeah, before I called you guys, I just briefly started looking through it and it just explains everything. So I'm sorry for bothering you guys. Literally, he said it just walks you right through the process. And I think that's what's happening. Not a big deal, but again, the better we get in the process, we send this out to every single recruit that's in the process, the more simpler and easier it's going to make it for us. All right. Good stuff this morning, guys. Anything else from that perspective? Thank you, Amy. And thank you, Tim and Christy. Again, the recruiting thing for ZipRecruiter, $50 a slot. Let me know on Slack. The ones that have already sent it in, I don't need it to be resent. All right. Let's see. Good. We're at 8:20. From a AML, anti-money laundering, there's been a change with that, and I think it's a change for the better. I actually went through it last week as well, just to see how simple it was. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I clicked through the material. This is recorded, but I clicked through the material. I went through and took the AML. I got a 90 out of 100. It's not hard. It's anywhere between $9.50 and $15. Just depends upon where you're at and across the country. Now, you'll still have to do the AML, anti-money laundering for prosperity, for your new people, right? But if they do the course for WebCE, with Amy and some of the other administration, what they found is that all the other companies will take the one from WebCE because WebCE is nationally recognized. You're going to make things a lot easier on yourself. You've got LIMRA, you've got all the other ones. Just have them do the WebCE and then have them do the one for prosperity, and they don't have to worry about it anymore. Very simple. They just take a screenshot of their certificate when they get done. All they do is click the button when they get done. It's super simple. I literally didn't. When I say I clicked through the stuff, you guys, I literally clicked through it and took the exam and got a 90. All right. And I'm no sharper than any of you guys. Trust me when I tell you. All right. So we'll go ahead and shift to this. I'm going to go through this really, really quickly. And you guys can stop me at any time if you have any questions. All right, so you guys know the website. Oh, I did want to show you guys this top right-hand corner. You guys see all of our social media platforms. The one on the far right is YouTube. So last night I spent some time and got a ton of our videos and stuff out there. So how to recruit using LinkedIn. That one just went up this morning. I think I added 8 or 9 videos yesterday, just last night. So yes, I was up pretty late trying to get that stuff taken care of. But Tim, we got your AMAM training out there. Mark's how to successfully set up a travel trip. Excuse me, you guys. Our weekly meeting, those kind of stuff. All those things are out there. The Aetna application that we went over. I'm actually going to do that this weekend to clean that up and do one just not a part of our meeting, but just a part of Aetna. So send your guys out here, guys. Save yourself some time from asking a bunch of questions. They need to educate themselves as well. And I think we put a pretty good platform together to help out. So that's that. Amy, did you just send an email out or I'm missing something here?
Yes, I just emailed you.
Okay. You want to go
it's
over
nothing
that?
you need right now. No, it's nothing you
Okay,
need right now.
perfect.
It just,
Okay.
Look at
Got
it
it.
later.
Thank you. No worries. So guys, when we come out here to the site, of course, you've talked to your person. Let me take a step back. I apologize. And let me go to our website here, which is being used more than I thought it would be. So that's a good thing. For those of you guys that don't have your own link, I will show you how to do that very, very quickly because most of you guys probably have your own now. But if you want to send somebody to the site where they can come out here and send them to the FFL or Family First Life site, or you can send them out here to our direct recruiting site. Again, here's the overview, what we provide. So term, whole life, universal annuities. And obviously here in December, I will update this to the words that I can't say right now, so I don't get myself in trouble. How we do it, couple videos out here. Need to get that changed. Thought I updated that yesterday. Just our compensation, the change with that, the bonus, of course, the business development meeting is on there. There's now a link for the virtual training. They can go out here and this takes them directly out to the virtual training site, which they've updated earlier this week or late last week, excuse me. Let me go back here. Podcast, just some of our podcasts, which I'm going to have Mariana and Renee on here to feature their big weeks here in a couple of days. I need to get back with you ladies, and I apologize greatly for that. Our podcast, and then of course, join the team. So if they come out here and they click join the team after you've sent them to the site so that they can get some information. Because a lot of people are like, hey, can you give me some more information? You can send it together in piecework, or you can put it out here and have them come out and either read it or watch videos. That way, if there's somebody that's auditory, they can watch videos. If there's somebody that's more print, then they can read it as well. They put their name, email address, and then who recruited them in here. When we get this information, we will email it out to you, but we will also reach out to them on your behalf and set up an interview. So I think this is being used more. I post it everywhere on everything that I post on social media, whether it's TikTok or Snapchat or whatever the case is, and it's obviously working because I got 2 more this morning of people that responded back in. All right, so that's join FFL Genesis. Our regular website, as you guys know, is fflgenesis.com. So you've recruited said person. You can see here on the left-hand side where it says custom rogue IMO link. You simply click on either the best, all these things, these pictures, or the links, they're all set up the same. So whether you click on the picture or the box, it'll take you to the same place. They're all live. You can create your own custom IMO link so that they can watch the video. And then when they send the information in, it'll come directly to you. If you decide to do that, completely free of charge. And it looks very professional, very nice. Once you get the person set up and you've kind of a conversation with them and they're ready to rock and roll, most of you guys know how to have those conversations with people, or you can send them to me. I'm happy to do it for you. They're going to come out here. You are going to click on the onboarding form. I'm making a little bit fun of her. I know you know who you are, but I think I know we had somebody send this form to the agent as opposed to them filling it out. So just be mindful of that. This is the information that you need to complete. And this comes to Amy and I, and then I forward these out to you. So you have a clean format that's, something that you can save in your PDF. So you know how many recruits you have, etc. So first name, middle name. I don't know why this is still being missed, but people still don't put their middle names on there. If they don't have one, just put none or NA. So first name, full middle name, last name, date of birth, street, city, state, zip. So a lot of people miss this too. City, state, zip, their phone number. So that's what we probably tried to put new agent in front of it because we've had questions about that as well. The new agent's email, whether they're licensed or not, because that will determine which email they get, the welcome email for non-licensed or licensed, what their primary state is. So I have 2 people I'm working with right now that are moving from one state to the other, and they had to apply for their license, but they had to apply for their resident license in that new state they're moving to. Please make sure to get their NPN. You guys have done a fantastic job of that as of late. And then whatever compensation level you're going to put your agents at. I know we talked about this on a weekly basis, but I think it's kosher to put, 10, 15, maybe even 20 if you're going to buy leads for someone, and then put a process in place. Hey, when you sell your first, 10,000, we're going to bump you up. When you sell your first 25,000, we'll move you up another 5. Because at that point, if they're doing that, they probably don't need you much. It's just you staying in contact with them and if they do have any questions. So 10, 15, 20 if you're going to buy them leads to help them get started. I think that's kosher. We talked about that in detail last week. Now, full name of the direct upline, your first name and last name, your phone number, your email, and then your compensation level. And again, when you hit submit, it comes to Amy and I, and then we will forward the information out to you. This needs to be completed by you, not the candidate, because there's some information on here they're not going to know about you. Is that clear to everyone? Any questions?
I got, excuse me. Hey, do you have the the spreadsheet that this goes into? Do you have that at your?
No, but if you want to send it to me, like Slack it to me or something like that, I'll open it up.
Okay, I was just gonna have you show them. Like, I mean, it doesn't really need to be shown. All of the information that every time you guys put people on these, it goes into a spreadsheet. So like, I have a spreadsheet that has everybody on there, all their information. If I ever need to know something about somebody quick, I can go out to that spreadsheet and it will give me all of the information that I need.
That's not it.
No.
I know I have it somewhere, but I'm not going to take too much time this morning and try to find it. Maybe we'll do that next week. That way they can see what it looks like. That's probably not a bad idea, just so you guys know. It literally takes everything and drops it in a category, so we know how many recruits you've brought. Not that we're looking at that, but how many recruits you brought in. How many have hit the field, just all that kind of stuff. And it just drops it down in the category, shows percentages and everything else. So yeah, maybe that's something we do next week, Amy, just to do a quick tutorial of that. That's a good idea.
I have a
Any
question.
questions, guys? Yep.
I do. Hey, what is everybody else doing to have like my new agent recruit, but I mean, as far as an incentive for them to recruit for me versus them wanting to just add somebody under themselves, and then I just have a bunch of random people in my area that I don't really have any oversight on. You know what I mean?
I would offer up to, well, first of all, I'm going to let somebody else take the bull by the horns there. If somebody else wants to answer what they're doing from that. Going once, twice.
I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Not sure if I understood the question, but are you saying you want the people under you to recruit and then just put them directly under you and not under themselves?
Yeah, I'm wondering, how does that work? I mean, do we do that? Do they just put them under themselves and then because like, for instance, just using Gloria as an example, Gloria doesn't want to be in charge of a team. She doesn't want to do all that, but I'm sure she's going to know people. I mean, and would want to bring them on board as well. So what are the options if, is it just that she would put them under herself and then we just have a bunch of people and it's just building like that? Or are people doing something else to offer an incentive to their agents that are under them without going that route?
Depends on if the override is important to them and if they're willing to work with someone or not. If they're not, I guess they can put them directly under you, but there's really no incentive for them to recruit. in my
Right.
opinion, if they're just putting them under you. So Corey can probably answer that better than me.
No, I think that's a perfect explanation. You know, I got something to say about everything, so I'll be brief here. Two things. If that person's going to recruit, Amy, and there's nothing in it for them, then you're going to have to put something in place with that person that's going to incentivize them to recruit for your team. Because if they're going to recruit and put them directly under you, what's the point? Unless
Right.
you're going to offer them some type of monetary something. But I will tell you this, if you're going to do that, you need to have something that you're doing extremely consistently, or it's going to cause issues. If you give one person $500 per recruit when that recruit writes their first piece of business, but you don't do it for somebody else or whatever the case is, you're going to run into trouble. I would just have an upfront contract with that person and say, hey, if they say, hey, I don't want to manage this person, but I think they'd be good at this, I would ask them, what would you expect to receive from that? And just to see what they'll tell you. A lot of times they'll be like, oh, I don't want anything. I just want this person to have an opportunity. Well, then they just told you, right? But I'd make
Right.
sure I had that upfront contract with them, because sometimes people say that, no, I just want people to have an opportunity, and I don't want to manage them. I don't want to do that. And that person comes on, and all of a sudden they're a Renee, or they're a Tim Bilo, or a Mark, or Ramon, or Mariana, and all of a sudden now you got a pissed off customer on your hands. Well, I didn't know they were going to write 10,000 a week. Now they want a
Right.
piece of the pie. So I
Well,
just
that's
tell
what-
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if maybe we were able, or in the future, if there's an ability to give them a portion of, our over how much.
No, you can do
know,
whatever you can do whatever you want. I mean, that's the nature of this. Is you literally are. You don't have any restrictions like you were the practice company you just came from. We don't have those restrictions at all. This literally is your business. You can do whatever the heck you want to do. So if you want to do that and put something in place, I would just say to make sure that it's consistent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
that answered your question. Anybody, you're
Yeah.
very welcome. Anybody else have any, I guess, highlights to add to that, or something that you would think would help with that situation?
I think the simplest way is just to put people under people, because in the situation Corey just explained, you put a superstar directly under you that was recruited by one of your people, there's going to be animosity
100%.
because they're not making any money on them. Now, you can always move somebody down the road. So if one of your recruits has a recruit that they're not working with and they're blowing them off, they're not getting the job done, that's when you have the conversation about moving them directly under you, under somebody else. That's how I would look at it. But just to keep things simple, I would just put the recruits under the people that bring them in.
Yeah. Unless you put something that's going to be consistent together. Well said, Mark. Amy, does that help?
My only question is it would just be a matter of I'm just concerned about the ones that just want to bring on people, but don't want to deal with training them or helping them or anything like that. They
I
just
would
want to
definitely have that conversation up front, or you're going to be frustrated. They're going to be frustrated, and you do not want that poison on your direct team, because you won't have a team. I mean, it's just that simple. Everybody thinks they don't have animosity because they don't want to do the work, and then they recruited somebody, and that person ends up being a rock star, and Mark hit it right on the head. Then you're going to have a pissed off customer on your hands, even though they said they didn't care. So I would just, knowing that would happen, I would just nip that in the bud right in the beginning.
Got it.
Yep. Great question, by the way. I don't think that question's ever come up. But yeah, I would say shift your paradigm from, your practice company to here, where you were under restriction there on what you could do and who you could recruit and where you could recruit them and all that. Here, the country's your oyster, and you have people that are going to help you interview. I'll do every interview you got. Looking forward to talking to Glow again. Does anybody you've got that you guys need help with from a recruiting standpoint? Because the area you live in is a great area for insurance. Great area for insurance. So,
Right.
Awesome. Yep. Good stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You're very welcome. Amy, hopefully you're not getting attacked by dogs right now. Anything you'd add about the form?
No.
Perfect. Let's keep this party moving. All right, let me get this out of here because I get so many things on the screen. So onboarding form, guys, this was added a couple weeks ago. So if you have people that need new licenses, or not new license, but they're wanting to get licensed in other states, it's a very, very, very simple process. This literally, you can come on, find all 50 states, or 51, depends on who you are, and click on it, and it will walk you through. If you need to do fingerprints, if you just go on, do whatever you need to do. So just want to let you guys know that is a part of our site now. I probably won't bring that up again moving forward. From that perspective, you've gone through, you've completed all the information. Once they start the process, guys, and I know I'm only going to spend about 30, 45 seconds on this today because I harp on this every single week. Give them 2 weeks to get the stuff done, especially if they're not licensed. Give them 2 weeks and keep in contact with them every 48 to 72 hours. Either they reach out to you or you reach out to them, okay? Because if not, I'm talking about non-licensed or licensed, because here's the deal, if not, guys, life just happens. And if you think they're going to come on after 2 weeks, maybe 3, good luck. They're just not. I'm going to move on from that because I know I harp on that all the time, but it's just, I've hired hundreds of people. I've probably done 500-600 interviews over the last probably 7 to 8 years. And it's just rang true. Anything more than 2 or 3 weeks, they just don't show up. I don't care if it's here or someplace else. From that standpoint, once you get your people through the process, which we're going to go through very quickly here in a few minutes before you guys go, once you get them through the process, I have a lot of our new candidates and stuff. They ask like, what should I be? I get a lot of, what should I be doing next? I break it down into pieces because if you try to go and explain, go through the new agent onboarding form, read through that. Then once you go through that, do this. Then once you go, that's the part of staying in contact with them every 48 to 72 hours because you have something to talk to them about. If you're just calling them saying, hey, how's it going? How's your wife and kids and your family? Like, that's cheesy, right? But if you have a conversation to have with them when you call about the process, it makes it easier. Then you can get into that other stuff. So the person's gone and they're in the process of working on their licensing stuff. They know they have 2 weeks. Reach out to them every couple of days. Have that kind of, hey, how are things going? Do you have any questions? Is there something that you're struggling with, or what did you find, that's cool about the process so far as you're studying, right? Once they get that stuff done, make sure that they're getting their exam and stuff set up. I would even challenge you guys to see if they can give you a screenshot of when their exam is set up. Sometimes if it's a real strong candidate, I'll tell them, get the stuff done in the next couple of weeks and have your exam set up before the 2 weeks is up. I'll pay for your first exam. That kind of stuff, those little incentives. You're going to write the stuff off anyway, guys, and it is an incentive. Once they pass their exam, I have some people going, well, can't I do the boot camp and study for the test at the same time? I'm like, let me tell you why I wouldn't do that. Does it make any sense studying for a boot camp is something that you may or may not do? And doesn't it make sense to get through the testing material first? And once I say that, they go, oh yeah, that's a good point. Once they pass their exam and they're waiting for the state to do their stuff, then you go ahead and get them started on the boot camp. Because what's going to happen at that standpoint, you're going to keep them engaged throughout the process while they're waiting that couple of days for their license to go through. I've got someone I'm working with right now. Her name is Sarah, and we're going through all that stuff right now. Just got her license applied. She can't do anything yet because it hasn't been 72 hours. So she's going through the boot camp stuff right now. She knows that she's going to get the 30% discount if she gets it done in less than 10 days, all that other stuff. So she knows that. And then her and I will have a conversation tomorrow as well to keep each other in the loop. Any questions there kind of about that part of the process? All right. So we talked about commission. We talked about the website. We talked about the process in general. When you first get somebody going and they're licensed, you should make sure that you're getting them onto getting them prosperity. Okay. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here because we've covered this before, but invitation codes, if you guys are not aware of how to do this, I will walk you through it. There's also a video on our YouTube page. If you go on to FFL Genesis Prosperity Setup, or I think it's called just Prosperity, it's out there. It goes through all this information. I'm not going to cover all of this on here because for time's sake, and we cover this just about every other week. But once you do get your codes and stuff set up, if you have an agent that you're going to bring on at 110%, you're just going to find, I'm going to drag it all the way to the edge of the screen, your 110% tab. The green one copies the link, which you can drop in an email, or if you hit the blue button next to that, it's going to send a direct email to them with all the stuff in it. Okay. I've also put together this here. If you guys want this, I'm happy to send it to you. Let's see. Yep. Here we go. It takes you through step by step how to set up your codes, but you got to get this stuff. Once your agent's license, get this sent to them right away. Because they can get their prosperity code within literally 24 to 48 hours. And once they have that in AIG, if they're doing, they're going to start off doing final expense anyway. You could really get them started to get them started writing right away. Any questions about this or any questions about how to set this thing up? Fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Slack. So, you know, we've mentioned this already. Just make sure you get your people on Slack. Pretty simple to get them added. I'm going to scroll down to the very, very bottom here. You got to make sure that you are in. If you look at the top left-hand corner, that is the Velocity logo. So you make sure that you're in there. You're simply going to click Add Teammate at the bottom. And once you click on that, Add Teammate at the bottom, you can either send them an email, or you can click Share your link, your invite link down at the bottom. If they have, I think most part it works. I have an Apple device, so if I'm going Apple to Apple, it works just fine. But you can send them the link and then walk them through that process. And I usually do a quick tutorial of explaining to them how to like stuff on there, or how to add things to, you know, those kind of things, how to send direct messages on Slack. And I really do take the time to go through this stuff with them. Another really quick thing, as I know you guys are going to say you don't have any questions about that. Another thing that I do is when we have a new candidate that's starting, somebody that's not licensed, I will walk them through this portion as well, because it just makes sense, and it takes about 30 seconds. That way, the first time they see it, you're not getting phone calls going, how do I do this? How do I get set up? And this is a way, and guys, I'm sure FFL is perfectly fine, because I do say this. I'm putting $200, I'm taking $200 out of my pocket and putting it back in yours for you to get started, for you to get your business started. And if you get this done in the first 2 weeks and get your exam set up and send me a copy of when you have your exam, it's literally going to cost you almost nothing to get this multi-million-dollar opportunity started. I literally walk them through the process. If they're a non-licensed agent, enroll now, English pre-licensing, tell them to pick their state, whatever state they're in. So let's just say Missouri. They're going to pick Missouri. And then, as Mark mentioned a few minutes ago, maybe we do want to start talking to people about the life and health process. That's kind of a grueling deal. If you want to do both of those at the same time, it can be done, has been done. But right now, we'll just stick with the life. They're going to click on Missouri Life Pre-Licensing. We're going to click the $199 and then go to cart. And then in the email, the welcome email that's been put together by Amy, the discount code is in here. They're going to drop the discount, copy and paste it, make sure there's no space in the front or the back of that code, hit apply, proceed, checkout, and then they're going to create a username password. I do this with every recruit that is not licensed, so that I walk them through the process. It's easier to do this on the front end where I can show them because we're on Zoom than waiting until 3 or 4 days later when they do it. And then they're going, now, what did he say again? This makes sense? Can I get an amen? We still got you guys?
Amen.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. Last couple things here. E&O. Just talked to somebody the other day. I urged them to go on here. Then they sent me the E&O stuff that they went and got on their own. And it was about $25 more a month. So I don't know what they're going to do with that, but that's completely up to them. You can go out here and find your E&O information as well. To add that, it's on here somewhere. It's 360 is what it says, just so you guys know where it's at, right there in the center of the screen. That's a company, National Association of Professional Agents. We just, I think FFL, because we're so big right now, they just put a direct deal in place with this company that's been doing this. I think that's pretty much all they do. But anyway, that's there. NIPR, I also put a video out on YouTube. So if somebody's have questions on what to do on NIPR, I did in the same video, applying for your license the first time or adding a non-resident license, about a 10 or 15 minute video that we put out there for your agents. Any questions as we get ready to get close to wrapping this deal up? Everybody familiar with WorkSpots and what WorkSpots is, how it works? Any questions? There are no stupid questions on here. Any questions about
that?
Go ahead.
So I finally got my office set up on WorkSpots.
Uh-huh.
And it should go live today when I've been told. But this is just a tip. If you guys have an office, once you're set up as a WorkSpots location, you don't have to pay the $99 fee. I didn't realize that.
Yep, that's correct.
Nice perk. But then, Corey, explain real quick how it works. If our agents use our spot, like you've got a physical office in St. Louis.
Yep.
With spots available for direct rental, but they can also use the facility through WorkSpots. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. So here's how it works. Great question, Martin. Congratulations for getting your office on there as well. So basically, guys, what happens is, this is case in point. Mark's about 90 minutes from St. Louis, right? I'm in St. Louis, Mark's in Jackson. If you're traveling, let's say you're going down to Jackson or whatever, or let's say you're going to Memphis for the weekend. and you want to work down in an area and make some dials and that kind of stuff. You could literally go to Mark's office, go into work spots, find Mark's office, and then pick a time, a day and a time that you're going to be there, and have a spot as long as Mark has work spot spaces available. So you could literally be there all day long. The $99 covers any office that is a work spots office across the country. What do I mean by that? Mark's office, the St. Louis office, the office that's just outside of Kansas City. Any other, I think we're up to like 290 or almost 300 offices across the country right now. So any office, FFL office that is a part of work spots, you have access to. It's pretty awesome. And you literally just go on the app, click the office, and then put the times that you're going to be there. Pretty simple stuff. It also provides you with discounts at Best Buy, provides you with discounts at just a multitude of different places. Let's show you this here really quick. I'll bring that up on Friday. I'm not gonna bring that up here now because I want to let you guys go here in a few minutes. Who's
Corey,
that,
what's
Tim?
the split?
What's up, Mark?
What's the split to the office owner on the $99? $50?
50. Yep. Now they take a fee. It's a small fee. I think it's $100 a month plus 3%. So they take that as like a management fee or whatever the case is. But yeah, some offices have printing. Like I've been dealing with this printing company for the last probably month and a half. We've almost got, when I go back in tomorrow, we'll have all that stuff done. So our office, if you're part of our office for work spots, you can have up to 100 prints a month. So what's that going to cost you, right? Try going to Office Max and doing copy. They're going to charge you 25, 30 cents a copy. Here you have so you're paying $99 for a place to come and work and dial, right? To be around other people. So you stay around the fire, as Tim would say. You've got discounts at Home Depot, Best Buy, Adidas. Let's not mention the one that they just put in place with Enterprise and National Rent-A-Car, where it's 50% off. People have been posting those on Facebook, how much they've been saving. I know Mike Shroud posted one the other night. I think he said he saved like $300 or $400, which is awesome. So then the lead discounts that you get, I mean, those things are starting to be more, hot and heavy as well. So just being a member of this thing, you're going to use it 2 or 3 times or use it even once a month to save on leads and all the other things that come with it. But to me, and I'll digress from this, just being a part of an office and going where people are dialing, you're going to pick up information. You're going to learn from other people. That's what's important. Because if you try to do this on your own, you're in trouble. Because you're going to have a couple bad days. And next thing you know, you're going to be considering, hey, do I still want to do this or not? So it's worth the money. And again, Mark, congratulations. Most offices, they want you to have snacks, that kind of stuff. We have high-speed internet. We have printing. We have refreshments on site. We've got water. We've got soda. We've got, somebody sent me a picture. You guys will laugh at this, but somebody literally sent me a picture yesterday and said, "You're killing me, man. You got full-size candy bars here?" I literally got that text message yesterday, which was pretty funny. But we just want to create a welcoming environment. Anybody have any questions? Thank you, Mark. Anybody have any questions about work spots? All right, perfect. Before I go over, finish up the process here, Amy, anything else that you had to, that you wanted to add from an administrator standpoint? Maybe something that popped up since we've been going through this?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. All right. So you go through, you get your person going, and you get the information from them, right? You fill out the onboarding form, and then the welcome email goes out. Depends on if they're licensed or not, right? Let's say the person's not licensed. The person's not licensed. We get the onboarding form. If Amy is doing it for you, she's going to send out the welcome email. The welcome email will have all the information in it. This is a non-licensed person with the discount code and everything else. They will then go through Excel, just as I just walked you guys through, and they'll complete all that information and start their study. Give them 2 weeks. We all know they're probably going to take a little longer, but give them 2 weeks, put that upfront contract in front of them. All right. The person that is licensed already, you're going to do the same thing. The process doesn't change from that standpoint. You're still going to fill out the onboarding form. Once the onboarding form comes in, you're going to make sure you have their NPN number, because Amy needs that to set up their HCMS. If I'm going too fast, let me know. You're going to need their NPN number with everything else that we went over on the form, right? Please make sure you put their middle name. Please make sure you put their NPN number before you send the information in. That will then be, once Amy and I get it, we will then forward that information to you so you have it in a clean PDF format and you can keep track of your recruit. highly recommend, whether they're licensed or not, that you stay in contact with them every 24, I'd say 48 to 72 hours, just to make sure that they're still involved in the process. All right. Now, once that's done, the welcome email that's sent to the licensed agent, they're going to get an email and it's going to walk them through the process. The first thing you're going to do is get set up with HCMS. Again, that's why we need their NPN number. They're going to fill out the information on HCMS. They're going to get a second email from HCMS letting them know that they've completed the information properly, and it's going to send them a welcome email. The third email they're going to get is what's going to send them to Insurance Bay. Right now, we're still using HCMS and Insurance Bay. All right. Any questions there? Because we're almost done. Perfect. So once they get to Insurance Bay, they're going to get what we call the Big 4 plus 1. Americo, AIG, John Hancock, and Mutual of Omaha. Please make sure your new teammates know those are the only 4 that they're going to want to put in Insurance Bay. Okay. There's a reason for that. We won't go over it right now, but there's a reason for that. And then you're going to send them, as we talked about 10 minutes ago, you're going to send them the link for Prosperity. Prosperity, they do need to complete Prosperity's AML. It's very simple. They're simply going to watch the videos. There's not even an exam. When they get finished with it, they're going to be done. They're going to get an agent code, barring nothing's in their background. They're going to have an agent code in about 24 to 48 hours from Prosperity. They can start writing with Prosperity. Now, once that's done with Insurance Bay, they then have to go back to HCMS. And there's a reason why we have to do it in that order, right? Once they go back to HCMS, they're going to apply for AMAN, American Amicable, Foresters, Aetna, Great Western, and Transamerica. Okay, here's the deal. If you think about it, guys, that's really 10 carriers for them to get started. I know a lot of people think they need more of them. We talk about this every single week, but they don't. They don't need all those carriers. They're starting out with 9 or 10 carriers. I think that's plenty for them to get started, and they really should start writing before then. Now, I'm going to throw this thing, because I don't even know if I've added this to this before. Once they start getting some of the carriers back, you really need to slow things down and sit down and have a conversation with them about their lead strategy. I'm going to say that again. Once they start applying for the carriers and they start getting some of them back, you really need to slow things down and start sitting down and having a conversation with them about their lead strategy, how much they're going to spend, what type of leads they're going to get, because obviously they're going to start with the CRM unless you have somebody that has a bit of a budget where they can maybe buy some Happy Agent and circumvent that back in with the other stuff. Any questions there? All right. Some of the carriers, guys, you're going to have to write on paper. We'll get into that at a later date. But again, that's going to give them 10 carriers to start. I know we're starting to recruit more across the country, so I just want to make sure I throw this out there. AMAM, so American Amicable, and Occidental are one and the same. So what I mean by that is if you have an agent that's in Iowa, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, Rhode Island, or Vermont, make sure that you have license in those states or you will not receive an override. Those states are Occidental. They're not AMAM, even though their website is one and the same. Does anybody have any questions about that? Does that confuse anyone? Perfect. So the last thing that I will mention, and then I'll open it up for questions before we let you guys go. Looks like we're going to be done at 9 on the spot. If you have an agent that is in a non-resident state, so let's say you live in Illinois and you have an agent in Missouri, there is a list out there, because I know a lot of you guys are researchers or you just come across things. There's a list out there that says there's some states that you don't need to have a non-resident license to receive overrides. That's true. That list is not always updated or it's not always put in our hands, right? Here's the second part of that. If you have an agent that is in the non-resident state, I highly recommend you get a license in that state just to make sure you're going to get paid your overrides. I would not chance that. And I can also tell you that if you don't, and then you go back and get the license and add it later, they're not going to go retro back. It's only going to be moving forward. So any other questions? Amy, anything from the administrative point or anybody leadership that has any questions or wanted to add anything before we go?
I'm good.
Perfect. I feel like an auctioneer at the end of going through that last part of it, but anything else, guys? Anything else anybody else has to add? Any questions, statements, comments, concerns?
Hey, Corey, this is Gregory again.
Yes, sir.
Let's go back to like way in the beginning of this. You were talking about the recruiting aspect and posting and all of that other stuff. I'll just say this really quick, and you know this, Corey and Tim and Mark, those you guys have been really great at this and can witness to this. So when I started, like you said, people said, you said if they didn't know what to post, just copy and paste some of the stuff that you guys do or other people. When I started copying and pasting stuff that Chris, how you pronounce the name? Schiavo? Schiavo. And you, people started asking questions, and specifically like the results, like the top 10 or the top 20, and they started seeing the results. And then when they started seeing my name in that list, not saying that I'm blowing up the world, but Greg Pitts 3,000, Greg Pitts 4,500 or whatever like that. Now they're starting to ask me questions, how, and then that starts to get people curious and want them to be a part of what you're doing. So that's a real free recruiting type of thing. They're seeing your names on there. They're seeing, and it's not like I'm posting it saying that I did this. My name is in a list with all of you other experts on there that are doing great jobs, but that people see your name in there, and that makes this be legit. So
I'm glad you said that, Gregory, because guy, look, I appreciate, because I know Mark used to own a marketing company, so it makes me smile when he goes, "You do a good job with your marketing." I am not a marketing major by any stretch of the imagination, but I do get online and read stuff at night about doing certain things. Renee, I'll mention this to you because you post a lot. I think one of the things that you could do, because you do it a lot, which I think is fantastic. Never mind some of the spelling errors in my stuff, guys, but I just want to show you. It's something in marketing called pattern interrupt. That's why I add, and I'm over the top with it, and I probably shouldn't be, but adding emojis to things, it stops people, right? If they're scrolling through and they're seeing all these words and all these ads and stuff like that, people, and then you have a fire emoji or an arrow, those kind of things, it stops people. It's called pattern interrupt, so it interrupts. But what I've done over time is I've just created over time. I've seen people post certain things. I'll copy and paste it, and I'll doctor it up to where it seems like something I would say, right? If you're posting Corey Williams stuff and it doesn't make sense to you, then, it's just not going to make sense to you. But if you see somebody that's posted something, you're like, that's pretty cool. Grab it, copy it. This is a copycat business. Most of the stuff that I have on here, some of it I've created, but I bet you 75% of it, I've copied it from someone else and doctored it up. So now all I have to do when I'm on the fly, I try to post at least one or two things an hour, whether it's on our Slack line. And a lot of times at night, guys, I build those things ahead of time so that I can just go in, copy, paste, and drop it in there, right? Here's the other part of that. When you're doing that, it's just easy to save the stuff in your notes. So when I go back, if I post something on TikTok, I already know that these are the TikTok things that I have, and I can just go back in and change the hashtags. So one of the real popular hashtags on TikTok right now is the Pepsi challenge. I don't know why. It gets 3.4 billion looks a week. So why wouldn't I put Pepsi challenge in my ad? You know what I'm saying? In my hashtags when I'm posting on TikTok. People are looking at that stuff. I'm telling you. So I've got all these pre-built things. I've got TikTok. I've got LinkedIn. So all I got to do when I'm going to post something, some of the post guys are exactly the same. I've just changed the emoji for a pattern interrupt. Does that make sense? Like, this is the exact same thing. Cold calling started 110% compensation, blah, 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 blah. The one underneath it looks almost exactly the same. Only thing I changed is here's our top 3 agents of the week. The one underneath it, licensed insurance agents. It's the same thing. Why should you join Family First Life? Real people, real results, real money. Exact same thing that I posted up here, down here. I just did a change of a pattern interrupt. That's it. So you don't have to overthink this thing. Just get some of your ads or get stuff and just copy and paste it in your notes. And when you're out moving around, you see somebody else's stuff, share it, and then drop your information in there and put the website on there. It's real simple stuff, guys. I've got tons and tons of this stuff. I've got probably 2 or 3 different note sections, and you can see it's basically the same stuff. Does that help anybody at all? Hopefully I didn't put you guys to sleep. Somebody still there?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just simple stuff. But I mean, I see some of you guys post, but I see Renee post all the time. Renee, I would just add that pattern interrupt to your thing and add a picture or 2. That's all. I mean, that I'm telling you, it'll make a drastic difference, because I was doing the same thing at first, just posting words. And then I read that, I'm like, that makes perfect sense. And then I heard Grady. I heard Grady posting. I'm like, man, I just read that like a couple of months ago. And then I was like, oh, okay, I must be on the right track. So yeah, you just keep posting. I'm telling you, people will start to respond, or people will be like, hey, I saw your information, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to talk to you, which is the best recruit anyway. It's so much better recruit than recruiting somebody off of a digital platform. Just is. All right, let me go back here, take myself off here. Any more questions? Awesome. Amy, anything else? I know I keep going back to you, but I want to make sure we're good. Perfect. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate all you do. If there's anything I can do to help you interview, if there's a big candidate you need me to help you with, start talking to people that Medicare Supplement offices. If you need me to handle those for you, I'm happy to do it. You get the meeting set up. If there's anything I can do for you guys, let me know. And Mariana, congratulations again for being our agent of the month.
Thank you.
Bye for now, guys.
Thanks, Corey. Good luck, everybody.
Anytime.